Hey guys, thanks for joining. We're going to be going over CCPA, okay? The Certified Chiropractic Physician Assistant rules, okay, that are listed in the Florida Administrative Code. I want to go through some things here. So we have a couple different things. One is responsible supervision. That's a definition in the rule. Direct supervision and indirect supervision. So direct supervision used to be for RCAs. The Board of Chiropractic eliminated RCAs as a thing a couple years ago. I think it was in the pandemic or right before, but every year is a pandemic this year. I don't know what year you're watching this, but anyways, so this direct supervision said that except in the case of an emergency, the chiropractor was on site, on premises, okay? That was for RCAs. For CCPAs, they're allowed indirect supervision with a caveat. It's not for ACA clinics. So if Abe Ovadia wanted to open up a chiropractic office, I could not have a CCPA being indirectly supervised. They would have to be directly supervised, okay? Now, I don't own an ACA clinic for chiropractic, so don't spread that rumor, please. But not for ACA clinics. This does not include ACA exempted clinics. So let's say Abe is a chiropractor and I want to get an exemption with ACA. First of all, you don't need the exemption. I don't know why people fill out that form for an ACA exemption. But if you're a chiropractor and you own a clinic, this rule applies for you. You can get a CCPA. You can indirectly supervise them. And indirect supervision means, for chiropractors, within 30 minutes, you have to be able to get your butt into that office for any reason. You have to be available by phone. The rule is really old. I think it says here, what did it say here, indirect supervision? Oh, here we go. It says you have to be available by electronic communications such as telephone, two-way radio, a beeper, or other electronic means, okay? So point is, if you have a cell phone these days, you can be available, right? It's not the 1990s with, that big briefcase. So anyways, CCPA, indirect supervision. Now, this is the rule for the chiropractor. This is responsible supervision. The rule says that as a supervising physician, you must be responsibly supervising them. So that's where this comes from. And this deals with, let me just get to the beginning here. Okay, so, I'm lost. Hold on. Here we go. The term responsible supervision means the ability of the supervising physician to responsibly exercise control and provide direction over the services of the CCPA. In determining whether supervision is responsible, the following factors should be considered: complexity of the task, the risk to the patient, background, training, and skill of the assistant. Okay, setting in which tasks are performed. Are they performed on like a mobile setting, a clinical setting? What type of setting are they in? Availability of supervising physician. Okay, necessity for immediate attention. If there's a problem, okay, can that chiropractor get there fast enough? And the number of other persons being supervised. So there's a rule in here about how many an approved chiropractic physician or group of physicians may supervise more than one CCPA at a ratio of no greater than 2 CCPAs to 1 chiropractic physician. So you can manage up to 2, but they also, based on this complexity, based on these number of factors, they have these rules on about that. So just to go over this, if you're hiring a CCPA, my advice to you would be to make sure that they can handle what you're giving them and that they're good at doing it without you interfering. Because before you head home and say, oh, my job's done here, I got a CCPA doing all the work in the office for the most part, and I'm just going to sit back and relax, make sure that you look at these factors, okay, and determine also one-on-one with that CCPA and the patient, how do they perform? CCPAs come in all varieties, just like chiropractors, and you want to make sure that before you put your license at risk by having them do something crazy or malpractice case, a lawsuit, that they're there and that they are good for a period of time before you just start leaving. Oh, I'll be back in 30 minutes, okay? Now, I want to just get a couple things out there while we're going through that. They cannot manipulate or adjust, okay? They cannot give the diagnostic results or interpretations to the patient. They cannot render treatment advice, can't give advice, they can only treat. And they cannot take x-rays unless they have a CRT, certified radiological technologist license, okay? So they cannot do x-rays unless they're properly certified, all right? And I think that was it. Okay, now, CCPAs can get punished by the Department of Health, the Board of Chiropractic, okay? So I just want to read this to you, what they can get in trouble for, because this is what they can't do, okay? So the certification of an assistant may be revoked by the department when, after due notice and a hearing, in accordance with this rule, it finds the assistant guilty of misconduct. Misconduct includes, but is not limited to, that the assistant held himself or herself out as a licensed physician, okay? They should have a very clear identification. CCPA may be something that says certified chiropractic physician assistant, okay? Just to make it clear that they are not, in fact, a physician. The assistant has, in fact, performed otherwise than what they were directed to do by the physician. The assistant has performed a task beyond his or her competence, okay? So again, that was on the board, but it's not. And then the assistant is this is an obvious red flag. The assistant is a habitual user of intoxicants or drugs. I mean, obviously. And the assistant has been adjudicated mentally incompetent. Why would you want that person in your office without supervision? Sexual misconduct in the practice, obviously. But I guess they listed that there. So method of performance. An assistant must clearly identify himself or herself by the appropriate identification as a CCPA to ensure that they are not mistaken for a licensed physician. And they put here, for example, use of a name tag. So get your CCPAs a name tag that says CCPA, all right? And then the assistant must generally function in reasonable proximity to the supervising physician. If he or she is to perform away from the supervising physician, these duties must be clearly specified in the application to the board. So always make sure that you have a very detailed written agreement about what they are gonna perform, what you're allowing them to perform under your supervision, and make sure it's in writing so that if they do something out of the scope, I've met CCPAs who will say, I'll adjust you. I've met CCPAs who are like, oh, let me do this for you, whatever. Again, they come in various degrees of knowledge and stuff like that. So you have to be careful, and you should supervise them. You should be within 30 minutes plus available by phone, but you should be there for a majority of the time just to keep an eye on things and make sure that that CCPA is doing what you want them to do. Keep in mind that the direct supervision was for RCAs. They left it in there, and that they eliminated the RCA, registered chiropractic assistant thing. They got rid of that from the board. So thank you for joining. Appreciate you watching.